Hey boys and girls, happy Easter. It's the Saturday before Easter and I'm sitting out on my back porch. So you might hear some birds flying around or in the trees making noises, or some squirrels, or even my neighbor mowing his grass. But I thought this would be a good time and a good place for me to try to teach a short math lesson on multiplying a decimal by a decimal. So go grab your math book and turn to page 163. And I'll go ahead and get started. Happy Easter, and I'm going to erase this. I hope your Easter is a wonderful one, even though you might not be able to do the things that you normally get to do at this time. I pray that you'll have a wonderful Sunday. Okay, so multiplying a decimal by a decimal. We're going to look at number 2a, 6 9/10. That's 6 9/10, or 6.9 times 72 hundredths, or decimal 72. Okay, if you remember when we talked about earlier about multiplication of decimals, I told you that you always line up the numbers, not the decimals. If you add or subtract decimals, you line up the decimal. But if you're multiplying, you just add up the numbers like you normally do. And then we just multiply like we always do. I hope I left enough room under it. Okay, 2 times 9 is 18. Put down my 8, carry my 1. 2 times 6 is 12, plus 1 is 13. Okay, now I'm finished with that 2, so I'm going to give him a 0. And 7 times 9 is 63. I put down my 3, carry my 6. And 7 times 6 is 42, plus 6 is 48. And then I add. 8 plus 0 is 8. 3 plus 3 is 6. 8 plus 1 is 9. And 4 plus nothing is 4. Okay, then I go back to my problem and I'm going to count every number that's behind the decimal. So I have 1, 2, 3 numbers behind the decimal place. Do you see that? You count every number that's behind the decimal. 1, 2, 3. So then I start on my answer all the way to the right and I say 1, 2, 3. There's a decimal. So then I need 3 numbers behind the decimal place, 1, 2, 3, and that's what I have. So my answer is 4 968 thousandths, or you can say 4.968, or 4 968 thousandths. Okay, so that's number 2a. You work all of the rest of those exactly the same. So now if I turn to page 165, it says multiplying decimals when zeros are annexed. The word annexed just means added. So I'm going to erase my dry erase board right here. And then I'm going to look on page 165, number 2a. Okay, that is 14 hundredths, or decimal 14, times decimal 12, which is 12 hundredths. All right, I'm just going to multiply like I always do, because when you multiply decimals, you line up the numbers. So here I go. 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 1 is 2. I'm through with the 2, so I give him a 0. 1 times 4 is 4. 1 times 1 is 1. And now I add them together. Okay, 8 plus 0 is 8. 2 plus 4 is 6. Nothing plus 1 is 1. So my answer is 168, but now I have to put my decimal. So I go to my problem and I count however many numbers are behind the decimal place. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 numbers behind the decimal place. So start all the way to the right and count 1, 2, 3. But I've got to have 4, so I'm going to put a 0 in the front. Okay? Always add it to the front because you start counting all the way to the right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and there's my answer. Okay, so you work all of those exactly the same. And looking, and I don't see anything else on these pages that might give you any trouble. So I'm hoping that this will help you out some. If you know of a classmate that's not watching the videos or doesn't have access to our YouTube channel, let them know, okay, in case they're having any problems. And I love you so much. I cannot wait to be back at school with you, and I pray that you have the best Easter yet. See you later.